They killed the top leaders of Hamas. It works. This is a great achievement. But at the same time, you have as many Hamas fighters as you had the first day.
American President Donald Trump strode into the United Nations this week with bold promises that have defined his presidency since day one. At a meeting with Arab and Muslim leaders on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, Trump declared his intentions with characteristic confidence.
And we're here to see if we can get the hostages back and get the war over and get back to life in the Middle East. We're going to get something done because it's gone on too long. And we want it to end, and we want to get those hostages back too. We've gotten most of them back.
The gathering included heavyweights from across the region, leaders from Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Egypt, Jordan, Turkey, Indonesia, and Pakistan sat around the table. As Trump departed the UN headquarters, his optimism remained undimmed.
We had a very good meeting concerning Gaza. It was a very successful meeting with all of the big players, except for Israel, but that's going to be next, and I think we can work something out on Gaza. But it was a very good meeting with great leaders. Thank you very much.
Yet even as Trump projected confidence, cracks in his approach became visible during his meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron. The French leader, whose country had just recognized Palestinian statehood alongside several others, delivered a blunt assessment that cut to the heart of the current strategy.
Once again, they killed the top leaders of Hamas. It works. This is a great achievement. But at the same time, you have as many Hamas fighters as you had the first day. So it doesn't work to dismantle the Hamas. This is not the right way to proceed.
When asked about France's recognition of Palestinian statehood, Trump's response revealed his unwavering position.
Well, I think it honors Hamas, and you can't do that because of October 7th. You just can't do that. But we want our hostages back, and we don't want them back in ones and twos and take the next 2 years to do it. We were the ones that got the hostages back.
Meanwhile, speaking to France's BFM TV from New York, Macron said that only Trump has the power to put pressure on Israel to end the war in Gaza.
There is one person who can do something about it, and that is the US President Donald Trump. And why can he do it more than us? Because we do not supply weapons that allow the war in Gaza to be waged. We do not supply equipment that allow war to be waged in Gaza. The United States of America does.
Macron then delivered his most pointed observation about Trump's motivations.
I see an American president who is involved, who reiterated this morning from the UN General Assembly podium, I want peace. I have resolved 7 conflicts. Who wants the Nobel Peace Prize? The Nobel Peace Prize is only possible if you stop this conflict, and therefore we must put pressure on the Israeli government to stop, to end the conflict in Gaza.
While Trump worked the corridors of the UN building relationships, some of the very leaders he was courting delivered scathing assessments of Israeli leadership from the General Assembly podium. The attacks on Netanyahu were personal and pointed. Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani accused Israel of choosing war over the return of its remaining hostages. His criticism went beyond policy disagreements to accusations of deliberate sabotage.
They visit our country and plot to attack it. They negotiate with delegations and plot to assassinate the members of the negotiation teams. It is difficult to cooperate with such a mentality that does not respect the most minimum standards of cooperation. It is impossible. Is this not the definition of a rote government? The delegation consider negotiations a continuation of war in other means and a way to delude the Israeli public opinion. If the release of Israeli hostages is the end of war, the government of Israel is abandoning the notion of releasing the hostages.
The Qatari leader's anger over Israel's September attack on Hamas leadership in Doha was palpable.
He believes in what is called Greater Israel. He believes that war is an opportunity to expand settlements and to change the status quo in the holy sites, in Al-Quds al-Sharif. He also plots for attacks in the West Bank and expansion. Israel is not a democratic country surrounded by enemies, but in fact, it is an enemy to its surrounding neighbors. And it's engaged in a genocide. And its leader is proud of preventing the establishment of a Palestinian state. And he promises that such a state will never be established. And he takes pride in preventing peace with the Palestinians, and that he will prevent such peace in the future.
Yet, in a striking contrast that highlighted the complexity of regional dynamics, Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto took a markedly different approach. Leading the world's most populous Muslim nation, which maintains no formal relations with Israel, Subianto declared that the world must respect Israel's right to security. He concluded his speech with an unexpected flourish, ending with the Hebrew benediction, Shalom. This moment encapsulated the challenge Trump faces. Even among Muslim leaders ostensibly aligned with his peace efforts, perspectives on Israel vary dramatically. As regional tensions played out on the world stage, a curious development emerged involving Hamas and the Trump administration. Multiple news outlets reported that Hamas had drafted a letter to President Trump proposing a 60-day truce in exchange for releasing half of the remaining 48 hostages. However, when Secretary of State Marco Rubio was asked about this reported correspondence, his response revealed either a breakdown in communication or a deliberate snub.
We haven't seen the letter. We don't have that letter. And even if we did, it wouldn't matter. The president has already made clear he's not interested in 60 days, 10 people. He wants all the hostages out, all 48, including the 20 who are alive, the 28 who are deceased.
Rubio's dismissal was categorical and revealed the administration's all-or-nothing approach.
Why do we still have to talk about hostages at this point? There shouldn't be any. They should all be released immediately, period. That's the president's position. So he would have rejected that offer had it come, but we haven't seen that letter. I think they gave it to the media or somebody, but they haven't given it to us.
According to Fox News, the reported Hamas letter, currently held by mediator Qatar, represents a test of Trump's negotiating approach. Whether it ever reaches the president's desk may determine if his promised breakthrough becomes reality or remains another unfulfilled promise in the long history of Middle East peace efforts. Trump's confidence meets regional complexity, French scepticism, and Hamas calculations in what may prove the defining challenge of his presidency's foreign policy ambitions.